A lover of 5 years turned into a mistress, but I aborted the child, but he collapsed. A lover of 5 years turned into a mistress, but when I aborted the child, he collapsed. The 5th year of foreign love. I bought the earliest flight, covering 10,000 kilometers, to go to the United States to celebrate Qin-He's birthday. In order to create a surprise, I didn't tell him, but rushed directly to his home. Unexpectedly, when he was supposed to be in school, his home was bustling. Through the transparent glass window, I saw him and a strange girl surrounded by a crowd. Qin, he knelt down on one knee and took out an exquisite velvet box from his pocket. Yan He, although we have received the certificate, I still need a formal proposal from you. Today is my birthday and our 7th year together. Marry me, will you? The girl blushed with embarrassment, then nodded with tears in her eyes. Outside the courtyard gate, my hand holding the suitcase trembled slightly. There is a wedding dress and ring that I ordered. I am pregnant, and I came to marry him with a child. 1. Kiss me, kiss me. People around him were making noises. Yan He's face turned redder. Qin, he gently put the ring on her and then stood in front of her. Okay, don't make trouble with her. She is shy and can't stand this. Don't try to persuade her to drink. She is in poor health and needs to be taken care of. As per the old rules, I will drink her wine instead. The people around him burst into laughter. Yo, yo, yo. Qin Mei is different when she becomes my wife. She is so protective. Brother Qin, we won't let you go because of your proposal. My sister-in-law just lost a lot of games. Can you do that? Qin, he looked down at Yan He and took the wine glass casually. My wife, can I still say no? After speaking, he drank it all in one gulp without hesitation. Yan, he gently tugged on his sleeve. Ah, hey, you are not a good drinker. I can drink too. Qin, his eyes instantly softened and he said softly, you have a stomachache and you still drink. You can't drink. You know, you take good care of yourself. Didn't you agree that you would have a child with me? Hearing this, Yan He nodded shyly. A boy next to him clicked his tongue. Did you see? This is called falling in love. Qin, he is usually very good at pulling people, but when he gets in front of her, he seems to be a different person. What if I didn't? I saw that Brother Qin's phone didn't contain all the photos of his sister-in-law. I fell in love at the first sight. After saying that, the man seemed to have remembered something and pointed to the Chinese food on the table. Sister-in-law, haven't you always been thinking about hometown food? Brother Qin brought this for you when he returned to China. That's why it's authentic. Even after 10,000 kilometers, our Brother Qin still got airsick. I was afraid that you would be worried, so I lied to you and said that a family member had something to do with me when he returned home. He goes back every month saying he has something to do, but actually he just wants to bring you some gifts. You must treat our Qin to love brain well. Qin, he seemed a little helpless. Can you stop saying everything? Why can't you say it? The evidence has been taken away, and you are still afraid that we will say this. The hand that pushed open the door was hanging in the air. I stood outside the courtyard gate, the wheels of my suitcase still parked on the edge of the steps, like an outsider who had entered by mistake. American winters are very cold. I got off the plane and rushed here nonstop. I didn't even have time to eat, and now I feel a cramp in my stomach. But the laughter in the room got louder and louder. After drinking, someone deliberately asked him, when will the wedding be held? Qin, he lowered his head and glanced at the girl, as if he was a little helpless by the question, but with a little indulgent smile. After graduation, he said in a very natural tone, we plan to hold it at Ohika Castle. Of course, she wants to marry me in a unique way. 2. There was a ringing in my ears. The atmosphere there also exploded. Ohika Castle, the one where venue fees start at $100,000. Someone slammed the table. High-end customization costs millions of dollars. Qin, you are really willing to give up a wedding? Then what are you waiting for? Let's do it as soon as possible and let our brothers go to the castle and have a look. A group of people gathered around, talking nonstop. Yan He was even more embarrassed by their troubles. He subconsciously hid in Qin He's arms and whispered, look at you, it's all your fault for talking nonsense. Qin, he looked down at her with a doting tone. Okay, it's my fault. He raised his hand to tuck her loose hair behind her ears. Don't listen to their nonsense. Just prepare for the wedding slowly. If you don't know whether to choose a traditional Chinese wedding or a Western wedding, just do both. When I return to China this month, I will help you look at your wedding clothes first. After your schoolwork is finished, we will go back together and slowly choose. Yan He nodded, feeling a little disappointed. If it weren't for the inconvenience at home, I would actually like to go back to China to hold the wedding. It can also save you some money. Qin, he smiled and squeezed her hand. We can't save money on weddings. We do better here, and it's the same. Yan He nodded. The laughter burst out again, nothing more than teasing the love between the two. While I was stunned outside the house, I received a message from Qin He. Baby, are you asleep? I bought a ticket to return to China in a few days. The day I go back falls on the weekend, so I can stay with you for 2 more days. Haven't you always wanted to get married? Let's go look at wedding clothes, shall we? I looked down at the message on the screen, my fingertips feeling cold. A flight of 10,000 kilometers, a 13-hour time difference, and more than 1,800 days and nights of thoughts and expectations. I looked at Qin He in the room, holding the girl's waist, and I didn't know what was true for a moment. I don't know how long it took, but when I came back to my senses, my vision was blurry. I looked at the WeChat chat box and typed word by word. Qin he, let's break up. Free. A WeChat message sounded in the house. Qin he picked up the phone, took a look at it, and his smile froze. What's wrong? Yan he looked up at him, his voice soft. Qin he shook his head. Nothing, news from the mentor. You guys eat first, I'll go out and make a phone call soon. He got up and walked to the balcony, and my cell phone rang at this time. I answered. Qin he's voice was as gentle as ever. Baby, are you having nightmares again, or did I do something wrong? I fell silent. Qin he didn't get my response and was a little anxious. Speak, okay? Tell me what's wrong. Is it because I've been too busy recently and am slow to reply to messages? Or is it the necklace I promised you last time that I didn't pick out that you think looks good? I'll go back this time and let's go pick it out together until you're satisfied, okay? Qin he remembers everything about me, and he seems to have endless patience and tenderness towards me. He would come back to China every month to stay with me, celebrate my birthdays, celebrate New Year's Eve with me, and give me gifts. We kissed under fireworks and had the most intimate relationship. In the past 5 years, I have always felt that he was the best lover God gave me. I looked inside the room and saw that Yan he was surrounded by his friends, talking and laughing. It is not difficult to see that she has integrated into Qin he's circle of friends early. And I didn't know anyone in the house. Qin he. I spoke, only to realize that my voice was hoarse. Do you love me? Qin he on the other end replied almost immediately. Of course, I love you the most. Didn't I tell you? I'm preparing for the defense these days. I'll go back when I'm done. Didn't you say you wanted to keep a cat last time? I'm already looking at the cattery. When I get back, we can pick one together. I interrupted him and spoke softly. Qin he, happy 25th birthday. I'm at your door. I have something to tell you. Open the door for me, okay? On the other end of the phone, his gentle voice stopped abruptly. On the balcony, the silhouette suddenly froze, then turned around quickly. You. I saw her. I interrupted him again, trying to keep my voice steady. I heard what he said. Do you want to explain something to me? There was silence on the other end of the phone. Then after a long time, he finally spoke. But with a bit of pleading. Lindsay, I beg you. Go back first. Don't disturb her, okay? 4. Yan, he can't stand excitement. Just wait until I have time, and I'll make it clear to you when I have time, okay? Don't make everyone look bad. She is different from you. She knows nothing, and is very innocent. I don't want her to get hurt. What is between us is our business. Don't involve her. I'll transfer money to you, and you can go back to China now, or find a hotel to stay at. Just pretend you haven't been here, okay? Qin he's voice was unusually tough. But I haven't finished speaking yet. In the glass window, yet he seemed to be aware of the sight on the balcony, and looked over. He put down his phone almost instantly and walked out of the balcony, blocking her view. Also blocked me. The phone was hung up as a matter of course. This time, through the glass window, I clearly saw the guarded look in Qin he's eyes. I listened to the busy tone on the other end of the phone for a long, long time. The last. I didn't knock on the door, nor did I break in and question Qin he hysterically. I just pushed my suitcase and walked numbly through the streets of New York. My stomach still hurts, but I don't want to go to the hospital. The phone vibrated, and I quickly took it out. But it was a message from my best friend. Xiaoyi, Qin he was moved to tears when he saw you. Your proposal must have gone very smoothly. Flying for 18 hours, just to marry him. Qin, he must be moved to death. You must be together forever. By the way, has the child in your belly told him yet? Does he have the consciousness to become a father soon? After saying that, she also gave me a bunch of blessings. But I just feel heartache. Yes, because Qin he always felt that being in a foreign country was too hard, and he was worried about what my family would think, so he delayed marrying me. After I found out I was pregnant, I bought a ring, brought a wedding dress, and traveled across the ocean alone to marry him and prove my determination to him. But now, in a foreign country, my lover is accompanying his wife. 5. I didn't dare to go home, but slept in the hotel for 3 days. I cry when I wake up and vomit when I cry, but because I haven't eaten, I can't vomit anything out. The frequent falling pain in my lower abdomen made me almost unable to straighten my back. I keep dreaming and thinking of Qin he. I dreamed that in the past, when the weather was extreme and all flights between China and the United States were stopped, I would have a fever of 39 degrees late at night. Because of my discomfort, he traveled to 3 countries and tens of thousands of kilometers to come to me. Then, while scolding me for not being able to take care of myself, he wiped my body with warm water over and over again to cool me down, and refused to close his eyes until dawn. I dreamed that in the past, he prepared surprises for my birthday a month in advance, made reservations at my favorite restaurant, hid the dress I casually said I wanted in a gift box, and changed the words on the cake for me over and over again. Just because I casually said, if the person on the cake is handwritten by the person you love the most, then he should be very happy. I also dreamed that every time we parted, he would obviously be reluctant to leave, but still smile and send me to the car. Then when the car drove away, he couldn't help but send me a message saying, I've started to miss you. Those tiny yet real tendernesses accumulated little by little, making me never doubt that he loved me. But he is such a person. But when I rushed over, I made a grand proposal to another girl. At this time, the phone screen lit up. 3 full days have passed since I proposed breaking up. Gene, he finally remembered me. Lindsay, give me your card number. The round-trip air ticket plus the expenses in New York. This money is my compensation for you. After receiving the money, it will be treated as if we have settled everything. Don't contact her again, and don't appear in front of Xiaohe again. She is in poor health and cannot have mood swings. Be sensible. I stared at the phone screen. My fingertips were trembling, and I couldn't type a word. I do not understand. It was obvious that he was the one who walked towards me first. He was the one who chose me out of countless people and said he would accompany me for the rest of his life. But now he wants me to be more sensible. In the end, I didn't reply. I just blocked Gene, he and deleted it, and then took a taxi to the nearest hospital. The blonde female doctor looked at the screen. The fetus is about 7 weeks old and has a heartbeat. Do we really want to abort it? I was silent for a long time and finally nodded imperceptibly. 6. When I walked out of the hospital building, I bumped into Gene, he and his wife. The doctor said it's just a recurrence of gastritis. Yan He's voice was very soft. You don't need to go all the way with me. Gene, he looked down at her and put on his coat for her. I don't feel at ease when you feel uncomfortable. Take medicine on time. Don't forget it. I came with you. That's what I should do. Seeing their tenderness, I squeezed the consent form for termination of pregnancy that I had just signed in my hand, feeling extremely ridiculous. I took a step back and planned to leave. But at this moment, Gene, he raised his head and saw me. His expression turned extremely ugly in an instant. Then he said something to Yan, and strode towards me. Lindsay, I asked you why you didn't reply to my message and you followed us. Didn't I tell you? Don't appear in front of her. What do you want to do here? Start trouble? Or do you want her to know? My abdomen felt a throbbing pain, and I explained to him with some difficulty. I just came to the hospital and happened to meet you. Gene, he obviously didn't believe it, and his eyes swept around my face with scrutiny and boredom. The world is so big. Is it such a coincidence? Lindsay, you were not like this before. You have to pester me like this? Entangled. The stomachache mixed with the sinking pain in my lower abdomen caused cold sweat to break out on my forehead, and I could hardly stand still. I subconsciously pressed the hand that wasn't holding the receipt against the cold wall. I didn't mean to show up to anyone. You were the one who stopped me. Gene, he frowned, and his eyes fell on my pale face for a moment. Why do you look so bad? Lindsay, don't play tricks on me. It's useless. Bitter meat plan. It turns out that in his eyes, I was just faking the pain. I suddenly felt that even the explanation was unnecessary. I twitched the corners of my mouth and wanted to laugh, but I only tasted bitterness in my mouth. Gene, I slowly straightened up. We have been together for 5 years. Do you have no idea what kind of person I am? His eyes flickered for a moment, but were soon covered with impatience. It was before, but now you followed me to the hospital, and you still pretended that you were just passing by? Lindsay, don't treat everyone as a fool. Good. I nodded, suddenly numb. I even took a step toward him and handed the crumpled receipt in front of his eyes. Then you see clearly what I am here to do. 7. He glanced at me suspiciously and reached out to take the piece of paper. The moment it unfolded, all the impatience, anxiety, and scrutiny on his face seemed to have been pressed on the pause button and frozen. You. His eyes were full of disbelief. Are you pregnant? He glanced sharply at my flat belly. When did it happen? Why didn't you tell me? Tell you. Looking at his lost look, I actually found it a bit ridiculous. Tell you, what next? What do you want me to tell you? 3 days ago, I brought a wedding dress and a ring and traveled 10,000 kilometers to find you. I wanted to tell you that we had a child and wanted to marry you. Still outside your yard, listening to you proposing to others, listening to you planning a unique Ohika Castle wedding for her, listening to you talking about her poor health and intolerance to stimulation? Or when I sent you a breakup message and you hung up the phone and looked at me defensively? Or is it when you send me a message 3 days later, giving me your card number, buying it out with money, and asking me to be sensible and not show up again? My voice was calm, but every word was like a needle pricking Gene's face that suddenly lost color. He opened his mouth, as if he wanted to say something, but no sound came out. The hand holding the piece of paper began to tremble slightly. He seemed sad, but I just find it ridiculous. Now, I've taken care of it. I took the surgical drape back from his hand. I signed it just now. So, you can rest assured. No accident will become an obstacle between you and her. This is what I came to the hospital for. Are you satisfied with this answer? Please give me permission. My appointment time is coming soon. After I finished speaking, I turned to leave. He grabbed my wrist. Lindsay, he spoke again with difficulty. He is in poor health and has difficulty conceiving. I finally had a child. You stay, okay? This is our child. Our child. I almost laughed out loud, but tears welled up uncontrollably. Then I raised my hand and slapped him. Are you worthy? He was stunned by me, and his face turned pale again. He is my child. I took a deep breath. It belongs to me alone. I have the right to decide whether he should stay or go, and my decision is to end this mistake. This is the best choice for him, for me, for you, and for your wife. No, it's not. He shook his head and tried to take a step closer. Z, listen to me. Yen, he and I grew up together. We have met each other's parents a long time ago. We must get married. But I don't have no feelings for you at all. I can fly back every month to take care of you and the child. He defended anxiously, but at this moment, a trembling voice sounded from behind him. Ahe. The air solidified instantly. He's whole body froze suddenly. He turned back almost subconsciously. I also looked over. Not far away, Yen he stood not far away, his eyes red. I don't know how much I heard. 8. The surgery was a success. As I lay in the observation room, I could feel the empty, sinking pain in my abdomen. The nurse said that everything was going well and that he could leave after half an hour of observation, and if there was no problem. The door to the ward was gently pushed open and quickly closed again. I thought it was a nurse and didn't open my eyes. He and Yen, he seemed to have had a big quarrel. I think he should be busy coaxing his wife. But he still walked to my hospital bed and said, Is it over? I opened my eyes suddenly. What are you doing here? There was another long period of dead silence, and then he said dryly, Yen, he couldn't accept it for the time being and ran out. But I thought you were still undergoing surgery. So, I said in disgust, instead of looking for your own wife, you come to see my lover who just had an abortion? Are you disgusted, he? No. He suddenly raised his voice, with a hint of embarrassment and a hint of embarrassment, but soon became depressed again, his voice as low as pleading. Z, let's have a good talk, okay? If I knew you were pregnant, I would never say those words to you. he. I interrupted him and slowly turned my head to look at him. After not seeing each other for a few days, he seemed to be quite haggard. His eyes were heavily blue and black, there was stubble on his chin, and the expensive cashmere coat on his body was also wrinkled. Now, get out. I said, you have harmed 2 women now. I advise you not to continue to be a bitch. The child is gone, as you wished. There will be no more accidents. You can go back with peace of mind, prepare for your Ohika Castle wedding, and grow old together with your wife. Stop talking, he growled, covering his face with his hands, his shoulders shaking slightly. I didn't know it would be like this. Whether you know it or not, it doesn't matter now. I stopped looking at him. At this time, the door of the observation room was pushed open again, and the nurse came in. The time is up. How do you feel? You can get out of bed and walk around. Go back and rest, take medicine on time, and check again in a week. Okay, thank you. I sat up and lifted the quilt. The pain in my lower abdomen made my movement slow, and a thin layer of cold sweat broke out on my forehead. But I didn't look at he, nor did I wait for him to reach out. I held the edge of the bed, stood up slowly, and moved towards the door step by step. Z, he called me from behind, his voice hoarse. Where are you going? I will send you, or I will help you arrange a place to live. You need someone to take care of you. No need. I didn't look back and put my hand on the door handle. I will go back by myself. He, from now on, you are you and I am me. Let's not see each other again. After saying that, I opened the door and walked out. The winter wind in New York is still biting. I wrapped my thin coat tightly and flagged down a taxi. In the rear view mirror, the door of the hospital is getting further and further away. I leaned back in the back seat and closed my eyes tiredly. The phone vibrated with a message from my best friend. Showie, how are you doing there? Has he proposed to you? Why is there no news? I looked at the screen. My fingertips paused on the cold glass for a long time, and then I typed slowly. Sis, I aborted the child. 9. A few days later, he asked me to meet at a coffee shop. I went. She still looked gentle, but her face was a little pale. Neither of us spoke for a moment. Finally, he said, Miss Lin, he and I are divorced. I was stunned. That day in the hospital, I heard everything. She paused, as if she was organizing her words. I know that saying this now may seem hypocritical and cruel to you, but I still want to say, I'm sorry. I raised my eyes to look at her. She lowered her eyelashes, and her voice was trembling. I didn't know you existed. Not really. I thought, Ahai and I have known each other since we were very young, and our families have tacitly agreed that getting the certificate would be a matter of course. He was so kind to me, so good that I never thought that he would have another lover in another country. It was difficult for her to say the word lover. It's not your fault. My voice was unexpectedly calm. You don't need to apologize. It's just that I don't know people well. She raised her head suddenly, her eyes turning red instantly. No. She shook her head, her voice choked with sobs. This is not a matter of misunderstanding people. It's him. How could he do this? Make a lifelong promise to one person and then turn around to another person. She couldn't speak anymore. I looked at her quietly. He asked for words and carefully protected the wife he held in his hands. In fact, he is also a victim who was also deceived. Ahai and I. She sniffed, trying to calm down her breathing. The elders in the family made an agreement half-jokingly a long time ago. We grew up together, and he protected me and took care of me, like an older brother and also like a natural future. I have not had much contact with the outside world, and my heart is not good. Both my family and him take me very seriously. I always thought that this is love. Stable, smooth, and properly placed. Until she stopped and looked at me blankly. After the hospital had a quarrel with him, I investigated his return to China and received some information. I discovered that he would also treat others the same way. I thought he only treated me. She smiled bitterly, and the tears finally fell. It's ridiculous, right? I look like a fool. We are all the same. I picked up the water glass and took a sip. She wiped her tears. So, when I came back from the hospital, I told my family that I was not going to get married. She said in a calm but decisive tone. They were shocked at first and didn't agree. They said I was fooling around. I told everything I heard and saw. I'm sorry that it may have caused you trouble, but they know everything. Then what? I asked. Then she twitched her lips. Then he came and knelt outside my door, begging me for forgiveness, saying that he was just confused for a moment, saying that he always loved me most, saying that being with you is just the comfort of a foreign country. Wei Jie. My heart seemed to have been stabbed hard by something, and a dull pain spread. It turns out that 5 years, a journey of 10,000 kilometers, those late-night phone calls, the smiles in the video, the planned future, and even the child who never came to this world. In the end, there were only 2 words in his mouth. Comfort. I threw the ring, he gave me back to him. Yan He's voice interrupted my thoughts. I won't give him a chance. Ms. Lin, I don't hate you. Really, I don't have the right to hate you either. I came here mainly to tell you that he may come to see you again after I am gone. She walked to the table, stopped, looked back at me, and said softly, my family has cut off his path to graduation. I just hope you won't be soft-hearted. If you need anything, we can always contact you. I will help you. Perhaps it was to confirm what Yan He said. My phone screen lit up. Z, let's talk. Please. I decisively blocked the phone number and nodded to Yan He. I see. 10. 2 days later, he found my hotel. The doorbell rang for a long time. He was wearing a wrinkled shirt and seemed to be carrying a paper bag. Z, I know you're inside. His voice was hoarse, with obvious fatigue and pleading. Open the door and let's talk, okay? Just 10 minutes. No, 5 minutes is fine. I brought some porridge. You need something to eat after the operation. I didn't open the door. To this day, the sound of his voice, the food he brought, just make me feel queasy. I finally spoke, my voice passing through the door panel, so calm and without any ripples. Let's go. There is nothing to talk about between us. What needs to be said has been said in the hospital. There was silence outside the door for a moment. Then, I heard his rapid breathing and the soft sound of his fist hitting the door frame. Lindsay, do you have to do this? I know I was wrong. I'm a bastard. But at least give me a chance to apologize. Why are you hiding from me like this? I didn't respond and turned around and walked back to the room. The soundproofing of the hotel was not very good, and his intermittent knocking continued like background noise for nearly an hour. Finally, it became quiet outside. I thought he was gone and was relieved. But soon, there was a slight, continuous click sound from the door lock. It wasn't a knock on the door. Someone was trying to open my door with a key card. I sat up from the bed suddenly and immediately planned to find something to block the door. But it's still too late. The door was pushed open a crack, and his figure squeezed in. Z. Get out. I shrank back and said with a cold voice, you are breaking in illegally. If I call the police, your future here will be completely ruined. Call the police? He seemed to have heard some joke. Go and report it. Tell the police that I came to see the mother of my child and wanted to beg her for forgiveness and take care of her. He approached the edge of the bed and tried to reach for my wrist. Don't touch me. I shook him off and slapped him. Z, listen to me. Instead of moving away, he leaned forward and placed his hands on both sides of my body, trapping me between him and the head of the bed. The strong smell of smoke and alcohol hit my face, making me feel sick to my stomach. Yan He and I are completely over. Her family is putting pressure on me. My project has been ruined and my graduation may be affected. I have nothing now. I only have you. His voice was low and hoarse, with a bewitching pleading, but there was a disturbing madness hidden deep in his eyes. Nidistadol, okay, I swear, I will only be good to you in the future. Let's go back to China or go to another country, just the 2 of us, and forget everything here. We will still have children. We can have as many children as you want. I will be a good father. Madman, let me go. I pushed him hard, but my body, which had just undergone surgery, was so weak that I was no match for him. His arms were like shackles. I know you still love me, Z, but you're just angry and saying angry words, right? He murmured and began to roughly pull the collar of my pajamas. We've been together for 5 years, and you know me best. Give me one chance, just once. I will prove it to you. You bastard. Let go. A huge feeling of fear and nausea swept over me. I struggled desperately and scratched his cheek with my nails, but he seemed to feel no pain, and his movements became more and more irritable. The disparity in strength made me despair, and tears burst out uncontrollably. This person whom I once deeply loved and thought I would spend the rest of my life with was planning to commit violence against me, just when I almost collapsed. Bang! 11. The door was knocked open. His movement stopped suddenly, and he turned back in shock. At the door, Yan He stood there, his chest heaving violently, and his hand tightly holding a mobile phone that showed that he was on a call. Behind her were two serious-looking hotel security guards in uniforms and a nervous-looking lobby manager. I have called the police and notified the International Student Office of the school. Yan He's voice was cold. Chin He, attempted sexual assault and illegal trespassing. The evidence is conclusive. The security has recorded the process of your forcible entry and attempted violence. Chin He jumped away from me as if he had been burned, and the blood drained from his face. Xiaohe? Why are you here? No, listen to my explanation. I just want to talk to Z. Talk. Yan He walked into the room. Without even looking at his embarrassed state, he walked straight to me, quickly took off his coat, and wrapped it tightly around my torn pajamas. Her fingers were cold, but they were trembling slightly, whether from anger or something else. Then she blocked me behind her, forcibly breaking into a woman's room using a spare room key and pressing her down on the bed. This is called violence. This is called assault. Chin He was speechless. Facing the sudden appearance of Yan He and the security guards who came over, his paranoia and madness faded away like the tide, leaving only panic and disbelief. Xiao He, you helped her? Do you know that she... I know. Yan He interrupted him, his voice even colder. I know that she is your girlfriend who has been in a foreign country for 5 years. I know that you lied to her and me. I know that you got her pregnant and forced her to have an abortion. I also know that you are here like a madman with red eyes to force her. I know a lot more than you think. But it's you who's the bastard. Chin He froze in place as if struck by lightning. The siren sounded from far to near, stopping downstairs in the hotel. 11. In the end, Chin He was taken away by the local police. The evidence from the hotel surveillance, the security guard's testimony, and part of the audio recorded on Yan He's mobile phone is conclusive. As a result, his visa was seriously affected, his studies were completely interrupted, and he even faced the risk of being deported and leaving a criminal record. The future he was so proud of completely collapsed in those crazy minutes that night. Yan He accompanied me to the police station to complete the transcript and then sent me back to the hotel. She helped me move to a new room. She didn't say a word during the whole process. She just quietly handled all the trivial matters, ordered light takeout, and watched me barely eat a few bites. Have a good rest, she said softly before leaving. No one will bother you again. I nodded. In the next few days, she stayed with me almost every step of the way until she sent me on my flight back to China. The plane soared into the sky, and outside the window was a sea of clouds 10,000 meters above sea level. I was a little dazed. The lights of New York, the pain, and that ridiculous winter seemed to be far behind. After returning to China, I changed cities, jobs, and contact information. Life gradually fills up with new colleagues, a new apartment, a new corner cafe. I no longer stay up late waiting for someone's overseas phone call, and I no longer prepare elaborate surprises for a holiday but ultimately fail. I put all my time and energy into my work and was so busy that I had no time to recall. Occasionally, when I wake up late at night and touch my flat belly, I feel empty and ache in my heart, but the pain gradually becomes distant and vague. About half a year later, I heard about it from an old classmate who had learned the news over and over again. Chin He's case came to an end. He accepted the plea agreement, was sentenced to community service, and was forced to leave the country, leaving a disgraceful mark on his file. Yan He's family completely turned against his family and cut off all contact. His situation seemed not to be very good after he returned to China. No one cared about the details, and no one elaborated. I listened calmly, said, "Thank you for letting me know," and hung up the phone. The spring light is bright outside the window, and the cherry blossoms downstairs are in bloom, pink and white, lively and quiet. I made myself a cup of tea and continued to revise the plan in hand. That name and story that once made me feel so heartbroken and made me feel like the world was falling apart now sounded like I was watching other people's joys and sorrows through a layer of frosted glass. It was a little distorted and a little irrelevant. A few months later, on an ordinary weekend afternoon, I received a text message from an unknown number with only 2 short words. It's me. No signature, but I know who it is. I didn't reply, just deleted the message and blocked the number. The days passed like water. Another winter, I needed to travel to Europe for 2 weeks because of a cross-border project. While waiting for my flight at the airport, I unexpectedly saw a familiar figure. It's Yan He. She was alone, dragging a small suitcase, standing in front of the floor-to-ceiling window, watching the planes taking off and landing outside the window. She lost some weight, had a neat short haircut, and wore a well-tailored off-white coat. Her profile was tall and quiet, and she was completely different from the shy and weak girl in her memory who always cuddled up to Chin He. She saw me too. The moment our eyes met, we were both stunned. Immediately, she walked towards me. Her pace was neither fast nor slow. Long time no see. She sat down in the empty seat next to me with a gentle voice. Going on a business trip? Well, go to Munich. I nodded. What about you? Go to Florence, see an art exhibition, and relax. She smiled. Her smile was light and beautiful. There was a moment of silence between us, with no deliberate greetings or awkward avoidance. The airport PA was broadcasting flight information in Chinese and English. People were coming and going around us, but there was a strange tranquility between us. You look very good. She spoke first, her eyes sincere. You too, I said. This is the truth. The overprotected, fragile feeling about her was gone, replaced by a sense of calm and strength from within. That's good. She breathed out softly, as if she had put down a heavy burden. Actually, I have always wanted to say thank you to you in person. I was a little surprised. Thank me? Yes. She looked out the window at another plane soaring into the sky with a distant look in her eyes. Thank you for saying to me it's not your fault that day. Thank you also for finally choosing to come out and not get stuck in that mud. She turned and looked at me. During that time, I was actually very confused. Anger, betrayal, self-doubt. I even thought about whether I had done something wrong or whether I was not good enough. But seeing you, even though it hurts so much, I still chose to turn around and leave, saving my dignity and future. This made me understand that some people and some things are not worth your life to worry about. Only by leaving the wrong one can you meet the right one. You taught me this sentence with your practical actions. I looked into her clear eyes and suddenly felt that those unbearable pasts had also precipitated something else under the filter of time. You also taught me something, I said softly. For example, gentleness does not mean weakness. She was startled, and then she showed a more sincere smile, the corners of her eyes slightly curved. Then we can achieve each other's success? This statement lightened the mood. We all laughed. The boarding announcement blared, and our respective flights began calling passengers. It's time for me to go. She stood up and picked up her suitcase. Have a safe journey. I also stood up. You too. She nodded and turned towards the boarding gate. After walking a few steps, he turned back and waved to me. I waved back to her. There was no agreement to see each other again, and no contact information was left. Just like two threads that were once accidentally entangled after being separated under the influence of huge external forces, they finally followed their own trajectories and extended to different distances. Maybe one day in the future, in another corner of the world, we will meet by chance like this, nod and smile, and then continue our respective journeys. But at this moment, I know that we are all fine. That's enough. I pulled in my suitcase and joined the flow of people on the flight to Munich, outside the cabin. The sun was just right, and the sky above the clouds was vast.